actually going to, perfectly fine, Sarah. Hopefully we'll be done in, well, depending on how, if you guys ask a lot of questions, that's perfectly fine. Just keep going. But the morning session lasted about half an hour. So I'm going to record this and post this so that everyone can see it. All right. All right. So hope everyone's doing all right. I'm going to go over, not really go over the syllabus, but what I want to do is for this is the first class that is past the iDrop deadline. Anyone who joined the class late, or especially the distance learners, join the class a little bit later, want to catch you up to speed. And I'm actually going to write a protocol for all the distance learners as well to know how to upload your workouts to Garmin Connect and how to connect all of that type of stuff. So I'm going to share my screen. There we are. All right. So syllabus, you guys can read through it. For anybody who joined the class late, I hope you read through it. A lot of you, most of you do. All right. When you say, okay, I've read the syllabus, I've taken a look at some things, and if you have some questions, that's perfectly fine. Please, everyone, remember to do your medical history form and your informed consent form, all right, which is in the syllabus, and then upload it to the assignment link on My Courses. So when you go to course materials, you can go to assignment upload link. It'll take you to a Google form. You can add a file and upload whatever assignment it may be. So just a little reminder on that. All right. Also, go for it.
Do online learners have to do this as well?
Yes, I believe you do. Good question. I'm going to have you do it to do the medical history informed consent forms. I'm going to. I think you do, just because it is still a professional guidance class. So yeah. Thank you for that question, though. For distance learners, for those of you who have not seen it or did not read it, that you'll need a Garmin Forerunner watch with wrist-based heart rate. All right. And reasoning is Garmin is able to track heart rate variability and keep all of your data in one space. And that way, each one of you will have a specific signature that will be able to be analyzed. So at the end of the semester, I can look through all of your data, and throughout the semester, I can look through all of your data and tell the university, yes, this person has been doing their workouts and they're just not giving their phone or their watch to someone else, because it is that specific in terms of heart rate data that you can tell if someone else has actually utilized the watch. So, which that way I can actually verify and tell the university, yep, they did it. The student did their workouts like they were supposed to. They were the ones who did it, right? And we can go from there. That way we can give you the B credit for it. All right. Also, little thing on, I wanted to bring up as well. There was a remote learner. I'm not sure if it was in this class or the other class. They were doing their 2-mile time trial. They had a sharp pain kind of go through their calf, so they stopped at around 1.3 miles or so. That's okay. All right, perfectly okay. All right, definitely let me know. That's something that we want to journal. That's something we want to talk about. That's okay. If you did not finish your 2-mile time trial and you did a DNF, or something called a did not finish, when you race, things happen. I mean, you can't get around that. Things do happen. I mean, for the class reasoning, for the attendance and all that, you're still going to get your credit. but so I want you to feel comfortable. Like if you're feeling sharp pains and issues and such, definitely take a stop. With that's okay. And especially you can ask me, is this a pain or am I just, not pushing myself hard enough? And the rule of thumb is if it's a real sharp pain, it's probably a minor acute injury. So take it easy, back off a little bit. If you're huffing and puffing, feeling burning sensations, feeling pressure, just like that, kind of like a claustrophobic pressure, it means that you're just pushing hard. So just keep pushing. All right. But if you're feeling sharp pains, it's okay. All right. Just let me know what's going on. I'm not going to penalize you for no participation if you stop because you're feeling like there's an injury coming on. That's okay. All right. So just communicate with me and we'll kind of work through. This is really, at the end of the day, this is really remote coaching for the distance learners. And I mean, I've been doing remote coaching for 15 years. So it's really nothing new to me. Might be something new to you. So we want to have that be a good experience for you. Anybody who's in class, you can definitely utilize Garmin Connect as well. Remote learners, you'll be going in the Garmin Connect. I'll put together a protocol so you can see it step by step. But in-person class, if you want to join the Garmin Connect group, that's fine too. All right. So definitely a good way to be able to motivate each other and be able to track everything. I still have workouts from 2006, 2007 on my Garmin Connect. So there was a time frame where I used a lot more in terms of just a wristwatch and didn't use the GPS as much. But since I've gotten this one, which I've had for, long time, definitely past like 4 or 5 years, every single thing that I've done, it has been uploaded to Garmin Connect. So any questions on those logistics at this point? All right.
I have a question. How much stuff is like actually due? Like I look at the syllabus and I'm having a hard time like really understanding all the deadlines and it's slightly stressing me out.
No stressful. No stressing. This is a gym class. It's supposed to, I do want you to learn the content that I give you. I do want you to do the content that I give you, but I don't want you to be stressed out over it. So, like the assessment assignment, right? It says it's due, so 14th, 15th, and you can see my Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, it'll be due the 14th. Tuesday, Thursday classes will be due the 15th. Now, that's a due date. But what I want you to know is I am very flexible. If you join the class on Tuesday, like on the ad drop deadline, let's do the math. How many days is it until the 15th from the ad drop deadline? It's not possible for anyone to finish 15 days of journaling in 7 days. It's just not possible at all. So I am a very flexible, very, very flexible person. All right. Really just do the work, do what you can, make the effort, right? And that's it. That's really it. So I give you due dates so that you can kind of follow them and that you don't get overwhelmed. And I don't want you to be overwhelmed. I do not want you to do all the assignments like down here in November. Don't do that. All right. I want you to do them spaced out. But if you need to take 2 or 3 more days, if you need to take a week more because you didn't finish all the journals, that's okay. All right. Finish them up. Do the work. When you do the work, hand it in. All right. I hope that answers your question. You're a little bit less stressed.
Yep. Thank you.
That definitely a good question.
One more question.
Oh, go for it. Yes.
Yeah, sorry about that. One more question. So with the submission, I see that everything is on one document. I think the whole document is divided into 2, where we have the journal and then the assessments and the article review all together as one. That's how I view it. And all that is due on the 15th, right? The first one before we start the next journal is all due on the 15th. Is that what it is?
Correct, yes. So you will do the full first module. So great clarification there. You'll do your 15 days of journaling, which is all this stuff here. You'll do your 2 writing assignments, your 2 article summaries, right? You'll do those 2. You can do them in Word, all right? You can do them in a Word document. You can do the journaling in a Word document if you want as well. That's perfectly fine. And then you have your assessment assignment, which goes over the heart rate, the body measurements, the exercises. And the most important part of this assignment is your goal setting. Okay, and you take all of that, you put it all into one file. There's a couple merge PDF programs online that are free, that are really easy to use. You just upload all your files and they merge them all into one document, and you upload that whole thing. I have had students do more than one file. I don't prefer it because I literally don't want to lose your file. Like if I'm going through a lot of files and I see your name multiple times, I'm going to obviously try to make sure that I hit every file and review every file, but it gives me a higher chance of missing one of your or parts of your assignment because there's multiple files. That's why I prefer one file, so that I literally don't cause human error and don't miss your assignment. So
thank you.
I hope. All right. Any other questions there? So our real quick wrap up, goals and assessments. All right. Goals and assessments. Basically, to summarize, right? It's all about making your goals concrete. That's what your assignment's all about, making your goals concrete. And this video is going to help you do that. So trying to say, I want to lose 5 pounds of fat by December 12, 2020 versus I just want to lose weight. All right. Much more concrete in that way. So that's what we want to do. So anybody have any questions on the goals section, the goals video? It's a good breakdown. So it talks about your vision, where you see yourself in the future, your goal, sub goals and tasks, and how that's broken down. And I have an example. On that video to allow you to understand it as well. So to literally break it down little by little. And then, I'm sorry if you're hearing a car horn, someone's alarm is going off right now. But to summarize, you're doing the SMART process, break everything down into deliberate actions and deliberate decisions and conscious decisions throughout your life. All right, so that is the idea behind this video here. Any questions on goal setting before I move on to overload? All right, concept of overload. This is all about understanding how your body works. All right. So the idea is you do a let me go to here. You do a workout, your fitness level is going to decrease. And then through rest and recovery, your fitness level increases. That's the entire concept of overload. That rest and recovery increases your fitness, and workouts decrease your fitness and stimulate your body so it rests and recovers better than it would have otherwise. These are some good graphs for that, all right, showing how hard a workout may be and how much overcompensation that there may be. And we talked about overload and detraining. We talked about overtraining phase 1 and phase 2, and how overtraining phase 1 is a great tool, but it may lead to an increased risk of overtraining phase 2, which is more as a body or mental depression, as you can see here in that summary. So overload is all about ideal volume and intensity for training, how frequent. Detraining or undertraining is too much rest in between each workout. Overtraining phase 1 is too little rest in between each workout, but could be utilized in crash weeks. And overfit training phase 2 is where the body starts shutting down due to stress and doesn't supercompensate. All right, it's a body or a mental depression, or both at the same time. So any questions on the concept of overload and how your body works when you're going through fitness? This is very basic, kind of baseline, just so you can understand it a little bit.
So quick question anyway. This is just for me personally. Now,
Yeah.
I never run, like I never incorporated running into my daily routine. I like to do workouts, not vigorously, but usually push-ups, and I time myself and count the number of push-ups. In fact, and I stopped because I've had to do something for 2 months. And then I put on some 5 pounds when I went to my doctor just before this class. So this class is like a blessing to me, which I'm really happy about, the goal setting and all that. But would you recommend, I love running now. This is the first time I'm doing it. I've come to love it. But would you recommend that I do it pretty much every day? When we started last week, I did it every day. Like it was like nonstop. I mean, I got a little addicted. And I gave myself, I think last Sunday, just to rest because I saw one of your videos, you know, talking about how you have to rest. And now, is it okay? I'm not used to it. Is it recommended that I keep at it like every day? Or would you recommend once every 2 days? Or what are some of the things I have to look out for to be able to measure how many days I have to do it and how long I have to do per time?
Probably in your personal situation, and for everyone else, you know, definitely listen to this and try to apply it to your own training. Is you said you haven't done running. Now you're just getting into it.
Yes.
So what I would say is I would recommend that you get into maybe doing 4 or 5 days a week of running. The 2 days in class, which the 2 days in class are always going to be more volume and more intensity than possibly the other days that you're going to be doing. All right. The other days, maybe you just do a mile the other days just to kind of move your body, move some blood flow, do like 15 minutes of running rather than, you know, we've been doing like an hour really. Yeah. So maybe just doing like 15 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, and that's it, right? It's just a light day. And then maybe 1 or 2 days where you get back into that push-ups and pull-ups and body weight exercises and such, because strength definitely has its place. We definitely need to do strength. We're going to do it in class as well a few days. I'm going to probably start you guys on some app work before we go out and run in the person class, as well as prescribe it for the distance learners. So yeah, but definitely on the non-class days, do much less.
Okay.
If you do any run, just because in class is going to be more volume and more intensity. Out of class, you can do 10 or 15 minutes a day and just kind of supplement it a little bit. You can go maybe 1 day a little bit longer, but then a couple other days shorter. Maybe do 4 or 5 days a week. I just obviously monitor your body and see how it's feeling too. So I hope that it's not a concrete like do this, but it's the best I can give you without. I'm trying to balance confusing you with giving you specific information that may not apply in a week. So
yeah. All right. Thank you. That really helps.
Any other questions? All right. So periodization. This one's a little more in depth. So Let me bring you to, here we go. And I'm sorry, I actually did not input crash week into periodization. I will talk about that a little bit and upload that for everyone in terms of what a crash week is and define it. It's basically doing 4 hard days of work in a row, like 4 hard workouts, 1, 2, 3, and 4, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you have 10 days of recovery days. So that's called a crash week, where you just like beat everything together, and then you take about a week and a half of rest. Not full rest where you're just sitting on the couch, but rest where you're doing low volume, low intensity. All right. So that's what a crash week is called. Very useful, definitely a very useful tool to use. Your fitness is slingshotted. The only problem is it does increase your risk of injury. So my favorite time to use a crash week is usually during vacation. If I take a week-long vacation to the beach or wherever it may be, I'll pump out some hard workouts for 4 or 5 days during vacation, with the expectation I'm going to take a good week and a half to 2 weeks where it's going to be much less in terms of volume and intensity. So just a little tidbit for you. I'm not going to test you on. You have to do a crash week during vacation, but a good tidbit. So the biggest thing is most of our training is going to be in base and build, and it's all about volume and or intensity. And the takeaway here is you don't increase volume and intensity at the same time. You just don't do that. It's a much higher risk for injury and much higher risk for overtraining. The prep period. I have this shared, right? Do I have my screen shared? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. The prep period is a little bit of time where your volume and intensity are going to be higher than it was before, just because if you've been sitting on the couch for 3 months and now you're just doing more physical activity, anything is going to be more intense and anything is going to be more volume. So, so it is a little bit higher risk of injury during those first couple of weeks. But the takeaway here, don't do volume and intensity at the same time. Don't increase both at the same time. So we increase one skill set. So our skill set is we're able to go out and just run for an hour, right? That's a skill set. That's definitely a skill set. It's also a skill set to be able to go onto the track and run fast. And you have to work on those skill sets separately. That's what periodization is all about. All right. So there's your takeaway. All right. So it's all about that rest and recovery. We talked about recovery weeks in this, taking them in between base and build cycles, and breaking everything out into cycles and giving yourself enough rest and recovery in between each mesocycle. So any questions on periodization? This is just skimming the surface of a very in-depth topic. So that's what I try to do in this class, is just expose you to as many topics as possible. And then from there, you can dive in a little bit deeper on your own if you'd like. And if you don't, then that's okay. All right.
I have a quick question. When you were talking about the crash weeks, is there any place that it kind of fits into that chart? Or is it really, could you take a crash week whenever you would choose to do so?
You can take a crash week whenever really you choose to do so, but it's a mesocycle all in itself. So basically a crash week is usually 2 weeks, right? So you have 4 days of very high intensity, and then the rest of the 2 weeks is a recovery week. And so you can typically, most triathletes use crash weeks frequently. They will fit it in somewhere between build and peak, or they'll fit it in between 2 build cycles. So they'll do a build cycle, they'll take a recovery week, they'll do 4 days of crash, they'll do 10 days of recovery, and then do another build cycle. So they might do that to kind of slingshot them a little bit. So great question, without a doubt. There's not any one set figure for it. So like you can go back and forth between base and build as well, just to kind of elaborate, where you go 4 weeks of base and 8 weeks of build and then do maybe a little bit more base. All right. You can kind of do that a little bit. Typically, my own training, I will do 8 weeks of base, obviously 4 weeks or 3 weeks for recovery, 3 weeks for recovery, and then do 4 weeks of build, go back to base for 1 cycle, then go back to build for 2 cycles, and then have peak, and then have my goal week after that, possibly putting in a crash week in between those build cycles. So, but great question. It's there's not any one right answer to it, but I hope that answered it at least enough.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
All right. Any other questions on periodization? Okay. If you haven't watched this yet, definitely watch it. I can see that there's 39 views and I have 120 students. So some of you didn't watch it. All right. Possibly some of you didn't watch it. Maybe this class all watched it and my other classes didn't. I don't know. But definitely take a look. Definitely learn a bit. Okay. We'll be doing that on the quiz. So that is kind of the wrap up of Unit 1. All right. With goal setting. You do not get extra credit if you subscribe. I don't typically worry about people subscribing, but if you'd like to subscribe, you certainly can if you're interested in this type of stuff. So that is the wrap up on Unit 1. Any questions on the wrap up of Unit 1 before I kind of show you Unit 2?
When is the quiz for Unit 1?
So there is only one quiz. It will be a take-home quiz after Thanksgiving. All right. It's basically a comprehensive quiz on everything that we learned for the semester. So I hope that answers it.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Okay, so Unit 2. Unit 2 is all about anatomy, physiology, energy systems. And again, Unit 2 module, you'll have 15 days of journaling. All right, just like you did in Unit 1. 15 days of journaling. Then you have your 2 writing assignments, Article 3, Article 4. And then you have your biomechanics assignment. So this one goes over muscular anatomy, very basic, very, very basic. You don't have to go nuts here, all right? So that's one. Muscle fibers, all right? We'll go over muscle fibers, type 1, type 2A, type 2B, or type 2X. You'll write down the function. I'll be doing some videos on a lot of these as well. We have metabolic systems, or your energy systems, that you'll be learning about, whether they're anaerobic, aerobic, how they fit in. This here is an application of what you've learned. So in an 800-meter run, right, a half-mile race, what type of energy systems and what type of primary and secondary energy systems, as well as muscle fibers, are being used during that race? All right, so that is a whole nother section you'll fill out in this. And you know, all the videos are going to have this information. All you need to do is kind of learn it, put it onto here, and you're good to go. We're going to talk about training loads, and we're going to talk about heart rate. All right, so there's going to be all these heart rate zones that we're going to talk about. This one here, you do not need to do basic biomechanics. All right, you do not need to do basic biomechanics. This is for my weight training and physical fitness and wellness classes, not for my running class. My triathlon classes do this one as well, but because that's a 4-credit class. You get to do the running mechanics portion. All right, so that is your section that you need to do. You'll read this blog right here. All right. Oh crap! No! Stop. How do I stop this? There it is. Stop. Okay. open a new tab. So you click this link right here, this blog it's by Steve Magnus, and he wrote this in 2010 while he was doing his dissertation, his PhD. So this one here, and you'll be able to fill out all of these sections on top. All right. Then swimming biomechanics, you do not need to do this, either my swimming classes or my triathlon class only. And that is it for unit 2. That's the assignment for unit 2. All right. Any questions? This is the by the way, this is the what do you call it? The article on how to run with proper biomechanics by Steve Magnus. Great article, great guy to follow. He's got a great, really cool coaching podcast. Love listening to him. So definitely recommend taking a look at his stuff. Any questions, thoughts on unit 2? Nothing. We're doing okay? On a personal side, are we doing okay? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
All right. I know things are a little nuts. So in-person class, doing well. Okay. Remote learners, we're going to get into a routine. This is all about remote coaching. All right. And once we get that communication back and forth, it'll be quite good. All right. Remote learners on Garmin Connect, please make sure that you have your profile public for me to be able to see and be able to give you credit for what you're doing. Okay. So please do that. Okay. If you have an issue with your watch where it doesn't upload one day, definitely communicate with me. Upload it, or not upload it manually, but input it manually as a manual workout that you can do on Garmin. Obviously, it won't have your heart rate data and your maps and all that type of stuff. That'll be able to give me verification that it was actually you. But hopefully that type of upload sync isn't an issue that often. So most of the time it probably won't be. But just in case something like that happens, don't freak out about it. Just communicate with me and we'll go back and forth. It's okay. All right. Any questions, thoughts? All right. Awesome. Well, hold on one second. Okay. Got a screenshot of everyone in the class right now, so that's great. Got you for attendance. So thank you for joining on. Have a good weekend. All right. If you have any questions, please reach out, and I'll either see you in class on Tuesday, or I will send out your next remote learners. I will send out your next workout on Monday. If you have any questions about it, please reach out about it, and we'll go from there.
Professor, I have a quick question.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so in the wellness assessment form, this page,
Yes.
the section on the far right side, is that like, so is the left side supposed to be at the beginning of this unit, and then the right side is we judge ourselves at the end of the unit?
End of the semester. So
Okay.
So you'll hand it in, right? You'll fill out the one. I'll zoom up to it so everyone can see what you're talking about. So this one here, and you showed it on, obviously you showed it on your screen, but I'm not sure if everyone saw it. So you can see here, you do your exercise. So let's say you do push-ups, time and weight, and repetitions, semester start. So you'll do as many push-ups as you possibly can. And then mid-semester, maybe October, November, or even December, I'm not going to grade you on the mid-semester or end-of-semester stuff. This is literally for you. You'll get your, or you're not going to get your assignments back because you're going to just scan them and upload them, but you'll have your assignments to look back at and reference back. So I'm going to encourage you to look back and see what you've done. Same with the 2-mile time trial, whatever your time was, see if you beat it. All right. When we do the 2-mile time trial at the end of the semester, see if you beat your 2-mile time trial. All right. So that's really what the second 2 columns or 4. It's personal use for you to be able to reference back to say, hey, can I beat my old time? Can I beat my old personal record?
Okay, I think I got it. Thanks.
Good question. Thank you. All right. Any other questions? Oh, shuttle run. Shuttle run is goes by different names, but if you're in a gym, there's a lot of predetermined like distances, but you run out for 10 feet, right? And you turn around, you run back to the line, and you run out to 20 feet, turn around, come back to the line, run out to 30 feet, come out back, and then run out to 40 feet, come back. That's a shuttle run. I think it's also known as suicides, something like that as well. It might go by a couple different names. So, but that's a good question on that one. All right. Any others? All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a good weekend, and I will see you or talk to you next week.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.